Over the past 10 to 15 years, corporations all over the world decided to make a gigantic shift in one direction towards the idea of DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. And we have recently had a pretty strong political shift in the United States, and it seems to be happening worldwide, where a lot of folks are starting to push back a little bit about some of this stuff. And so everyone started to wonder and speculate if these corporations would start to walk back some of these ideas and the insertion of it within the core foundations of their company. And it seems like that is actually happening now that Disney is starting to walk back its content warnings on its films. On top of this, we have gotten a very first look at our Masters of the Universe He-Man, which I find quite interesting because all of the casting around this was controversial to say the least. And we have our very first look at Mortal Kombat 2's Johnny Cage. So let's go ahead and dig into it. Before we kick things off, I wanted to say thank you for checking out our video. Make sure to look down below and subscribe to this channel. Give us the comments, the likes. All of it helps our channel a whole bunch. We're growing rapidly, and I would love for you to come along with this journey with us as we discuss more in the news realm of the entertainment industry, along with just reviews, talking about movies and television shows, which is exactly what criticless.com does, which is our app and our website. So make sure to visit Criticless. Yes, that's criticless.com. But I want to go ahead and dig into what I was talking about earlier, which was Disney Plus removing, or well, not removing, but changing the content warnings on their films. They have put them in front of quite a few things, but the ones that this article specifically highlights is Dumbo and Peter Pan, but there are more outside of that, where these older films, basically, they felt the need to give everyone a warning about the movies in case people were just far too sensitive to sit through a film and just get so offended that they couldn't even stand to sit through what they were watching. So these content warnings have started going in. It's not just Disney that's doing this, it's many companies, but they have officially changed back to a previous version of the content warnings. Now, granted, I'm curious if these are going to get removed entirely at some point. That will all revolve around the political discussion and where our society lies as a whole with all of these. But Disney is clearly analyzing the culture and where things are sitting and realizing that things are not looking too good for them. And this is a smart move because a company can only lose but so much money before they decide to make a shift. You know, you can only get too political before people start to bristle, because there are going to be people that disagree with you on one side of the aisle or another, and people are just kind of tired of it. So what it says here is that Disney is adjusting the content warning ahead of some of its old movies, including Peter Pan, Dumbo, amid an overall shift in DEI strategy at the company following President Donald Trump's taking office again. Now, this was first reported by Axios and then confirmed by Variety, where I'm getting this article. And basically, they have walked this back to a previous version that initially went on their site back in 2019. So in November of 2019, Disney first added content warnings to movies such as Dumbo due to racist depictions found in films created by Disney in the 1940s and 50s. So it says, this program is presented as originally created. The warning previously stated it may contain outdated cultural depictions. Very simple, short, sweet, not too long, just a very simple warning saying, hey, look, things are a little different now. So just so you know, we don't necessarily lean into all of these representations and whatnot, but it's how the film was created. So what it said is that Disney changed the wording in October of 2020. Big shock. A lot happened back in 2020. If you were around for any of that, things got hyper political and have not stopped since. So it says, to the longer content warning, which it previously said, this program includes negative depictions and or mistreatment of people or cultures. These stereotypes were wrong then and are wrong now. Rather than remove this content, we want to acknowledge its harmful impact, learn from it, and spark conversation to create more inclusive future together. Disney is committed to creating stories with an inspirational and aspirational themes that reflect the rich diversity of the human experience around the globe. Yes. It said all of that before watching a movie because we want to read a massive paragraph where we get lectured about representation and how people should be depicted and the exact stance of Disney when we all know that these are older films created a long time ago, and sometimes things change and our opinions and our beliefs and our cultural mindset changes over time. We need to be preached on how the previous generations were all just so wrong and stupid. So it doesn't say that anymore. They've walked back to the shorter version, which makes a lot more sense, gets across the point, and says it shortly but sweetly. Now, like I said, I think some of these just need to be removed entirely. I don't think we all need to be patted on the head and warned and just ushered into this experience in a way in which that makes us feel perfectly comfortable. It's just absurd. But I think that this is a good sign that Disney is paying attention. They are realizing that things have not been looking good for them, and they are walking some things back. And it sounds like this might be happening company-wide, which could be a great sign because we have watched the collapse of Star Wars and Marvel and all of these companies over the past few years, and it's hard to watch. It's hard to sit through. And I don't think that anybody on either side of the political aisle could deny the fact that Disney and these companies have leaned in one direction extremely hard. And as someone who is a more moderate, centrist, middle of the road person, I mean, I and a lot of people are in this boat these days. I don't want to be pushed political ideology from either side, and I don't think it is Disney or any other company's right to preach to me these ideals. So, good on you, Disney. Let's walk it back a little bit. Let's think about the fact that people might not want your company to be hyper political. So, I think this is a good sign that things are heading in a good direction. Now, next up, I wanted to talk about He-Man. Now, the Masters of the Universe film was announced a little while back. It's going to be directed by Travis Knight, and I am a fan of what this guy has done, and I think he's actually quite a solid director, and he has directed two movies that I like a lot, one of which being Kubo and the Two Strings, which is an absolutely phenomenal film that I recommend you check out. He also did the Bumblebee film, which I think is one of the best Transformer movies to date. So I think that this guy is a good director, but then we got the casting, where he announced that we were going to be getting Nicholas Galinzi, I don't know how to say this. Nicky G, that fella. He's going to be in this movie, and a lot of people weren't too happy about it. This is a dark-headed guy. Now, he's dyed his hair blonde in the past, but he's become known for playing not the most masculine macho characters ever, and it doesn't get more masculine or macho than He-Man. And I mean, this guy just he wasn't fitting the vibe, so I'll just put it that way. Between him and then some of the other characters as well, people were a little hesitant, but now we have our first photo where our dude has gotten absolutely yoked. He has apparently decided to go full on into the character, and they're getting him jacked. And so now we have our first look at not only him as He-Man, but also Camila Mendez, who is going to be in the film as well. She's going to be playing Teela. So here are the original two characters. Now, Teela was another controversial casting because of the fact that, well, take a look at Teela. This is a very, very white woman, quite pale, redheaded, and this follows the Hollywood trend of now they've got a Hispanic woman in the role. Now, I love this actress. I think she is a very good actress, very pretty, very appealing to watch, and I think that she could be a good choice for the movie, and clearly she's working out along with Nick, so, I mean, this is good that they're at least wanting to get the characters to look fit and in the role, which this has not been a common Hollywood idea of late, so I think that this is at least a good sign, but my dude has gotten jacked. Like, he's looking, his head is like twice the size that it used to be, and he's going with the long hair. They've dyed it blonde. Like, this is all honestly a good sign, and clearly they've dyed her hair as well, so I think with them not going full wigs and all of that is actually a good sign. Listen, we got Jared Leto as Skeletor. This could either be the best casting ever or the worst thing imaginable. I think Idris Elba as Man-at-Arms is predictable from Hollywood. We'll see, and we've got Maria Baccarin as the Sorceress, so like there is good and bad casting here, but the fact that he decided to go and get absolutely jacked, I think is a really good sign. And look at this photo here. My dude's arms are freaking huge. Like I said, his head's like twice the size that it used to be. And everything about this, I know this is kind of a blurry picture, but you can tell his shoulders, his pecs, his arms are freaking massive. Like, that is a good sign for a character like He-Man. So I'm not gonna complain. I'm just gonna hold out hope. I hope he's fully leaning into the role. And if this dude gets absolutely jacked for this movie, then hell yeah, that's what we all want. And if he can pull off the vibe and the feel, and if she can as well, then I think that a lot of people will pull back on their complaints about this casting. But I do think that this is good news for the next Masters of the Universe live action film, especially after they've been floundering of late with the cartoons. But the last little bit that I wanted to talk about here is that we have our first poster for Mortal Kombat 2. Here's our picture, our first look at Johnny Cage, which is a fan favorite character. People love him, and it's going to be played by Carl Urban. And everyone loves him. And if you have seen him act in anything, then you know that there is a strong chance that this guy is going to knock it out of the park with this role. Everyone was curious of the vibe, how he's going to look. It looks like Carl Urban, but also it looks like Johnny Cage. I mean, take a look. This is the character and what we've kind of known him to look like in the comics. He's a very over-the-top, very charismatic type of pro wrestler style character, and just a big-time celebrity. And I think that this is the perfect thing here. This is clearly a fake poster for Uncaged Fury, kind of poking fun at clearly one of his movies that's he's going to have acted in universe in. But I am one of the people that really liked the remake Mortal Kombat film from more recent years, and I think that this could actually end up being pretty cool if it's as good as the last film. And this movie is scheduled to arrive on October 24th of 2025. So I think that this could be pretty rad. I am excited about him playing the character. I think that this is a good look. They've done a little bit of blonde in his hair. They've got it slicked back. He's got the iconic sunglasses. Actually, if you take a look, it's a little hard to see here in the picture, but clearly the world is burning in the background in his sunglasses in the mirrored image, which is cool. I didn't actually even catch that until just now. But he's got the vibe, he's got the look. I'm pretty excited for this movie. I hope it's awesome. I mean, the strong, bloody, violent, hard R Mortal Kombat films is the way it should have been. That's how the last movie was, and I think they're going to keep leaning into that. So this is a good sign for not only Masters of the Universe, but for Mortal Kombat 2. And this seems to be good news across the board, which we haven't been too used to of late. So I'm excited for all of these things. I am hopefully optimistic, and we'll see what shakes out with them all. But as I'm on my way out, I'm going to say once again, make sure to give us that subscription down below. We really, really appreciate it. And just make sure to check out criticalist.com or download the app in your app store. And I will be back before you know it with more entertainment information or a review. This week, we are actually going to be reviewing the new Captain America film, which I am hesitant about. I'll just put it that way, but we will be reviewing that fairly early on Thursday, and we should be beating a lot of people to the punch. So make sure to check out our live stream on Thursday, but I will be back soon, hopefully tomorrow, with some more entertainment information. Everybody take it easy. Later.